Okay, so what's really got everyone talking lately, it seems to be this unexpected connection between Kevin Gates, the rapper, and Brittany Renner.
Yeah, that's right.
It sort of popped up on DDG's live stream first, didn't it? And bam, the internet just exploded. Loads of speculation, some really, really strong opinions flying around.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely, grabbed people's attention. So for this DRM News global discussion, we really wanted to dig into it.
Go beyond the headlines a bit.
Exactly. We've been looking at the online articles, the social media posts, trying to piece together how the story's unfolding, get a sense of the different takes on it,
Hmm.
and maybe figure out what makes this particular celebrity thing so fascinating to everyone.
Right. Okay, so let's start with how it became official or semi-official. Brittany Renner's Instagram posts those black and white photos.
Yeah, the really striking ones.
And the caption mentioning Allah, talking about an unbreakable connection, that seemed to be the big confirmation moment, yeah.
It definitely felt like it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all, cheers and congratulations, was it? The sources we looked at mentioned a mix.
A mix, like praise, but also,
Yeah, praise, but also a good amount of skepticism. It seems some people were immediately like, what's the deal here? Questioning the motives, how long it might last,
okay,
especially given, their individual public histories.
yeah,
What do you think was behind that initial split reaction?
that's interesting. Maybe it's just the reputations they both have. Gates is known for being pretty outspoken, right?
Yeah.
And Renner, well, she's very direct, sometimes seen as controversial herself. So maybe just putting them together made some people raise their eyebrows, people who know their backstories.
That makes sense. Kind of
But
preconceived notions setting the stage.
and then Gates himself jumped into the comments, which is always revealing.
Always interesting, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
He didn't shy away.
not at all. Someone asked about Renner's intentions, apparently, and his response was, motive accomplished with laughing emojis.
Yes, that specific quote came up. And another one about money, right. Someone hinted she might be after his money.
Yeah, and he replied something like, all I have is the little that God bless me with. Pretty direct. What's your take on him engaging like that?
Well, it's definitely a choice. He's not letting others define the narrative, is he? He's jumping right in.
Mm-hmm.
That motive accomplished comment?
Mm-hmm.
It's cryptic, sure, but maybe it suggests he feels like, I don't know, being with her brings him something positive already. Happiness, maybe?
Or just shutting down the speculation.
Could be that too. And the money comment seems pretty clearly aimed at shutting down those gold digger accusations you sometimes see. Basically saying, look, it's not about that.
Okay, shifting gears slightly to Renner's side. She has this interesting take on privacy, specifically about not looking through Gates's phone.
Right, that came up too.
She said something like, I'm just minding my business, and then when you go looking for trouble, you'll find it. It's almost like a personal rule.
Yeah, it feels very intentional, like setting a clear boundary. In a world where, everything online gets picked apart,
Totally.
her deciding not to look feels like a deliberate move to build trust, maybe,
Yeah.
or just avoid drama she doesn't need.
Keep the peace.
Exactly. And Gates apparently backed that up. Says she believes looking for trouble means you'll find it.
Yeah, and he made some joke about women having 20/20 vision when a guy's phone shows up, and she laughed. Right. Which kind of suggests they've talked about it, it hints at this shared understanding, maybe even a playful nod to how relationships work these days with phones and everything.
Yeah, like they're on the same page about that boundary at least.
Seems like it.
But just when it seems sort of straightforward, this other person, Persia, comes into the picture with some pretty serious claims. This complicates things, doesn't it?
Oh, massively. Persia's story adds a whole different dimension. Her claim is that she was involved with Gates romantically before and during the time he started appearing publicly with Renner back in March.
Alleged overlap, yes. And she didn't just say it quietly. She went public on social media, even shared recordings of a phone call apparently confronting him.
Wow. Okay.
So she's clearly trying to get her version of events out there, challenging the picture Gates and Renner are painting. Gates, for his part, hasn't publicly responded to her claims, according to the sources.
And Persia's accusations aren't mild. She called Gates manipulative and narcissistic, said he uses women.
Pretty strong language.
Yeah. And she didn't spare Renner either. Claimed Gates had said Renner was washed and had lost her glow. Ouch.
Very personal attacks.
Yeah.
And she also alleged that Renner actually knew about her, about Persia, but pursued Gates anyway.
So she's accusing both of them of, well, bad behavior. Sounds like a lot of hurt feelings there.
Definitely sounds like it. The narrative Persia presents is one of betrayal, feeling betrayed by Gates and also by Renner if she believes Renner knew.
Those specific insults washed lost her glow. They feel designed to sting, don't they?
They really do. Very pointed. And claiming Renner knew adds that layer of, like, breaking some kind of code, in Persia's view. Public accusations like this can be really damaging, whatever the truth is. What else stood out to you from her claims?
Well, beyond the personal stuff, she also brought up Gates' conversion to Islam,
Oh, right.
called it a trend and a mockery, and then criticized Renner for things she'd said in the past about not wanting men who have multiple partners.
So widening the attack beyond just the relationship itself.
Exactly. It becomes about their character, their public image, perceived hypocrisy, questioning the sincerity of his faith, digging up Renner's past statements. It adds a whole other level of public judgment.
It definitely does. Persia seems to be trying to undermine their credibility, paint the whole thing as fake or calculated.
And then there was the claim about threats from Gates' team.
Yeah, that was mentioned too. Persia alleged she received threats after she started speaking out. That's obviously a very serious accusation. If true, it suggests things are potentially quite tense behind the scenes.
Very messy. But it's also important, I think, that the sources mention Persia's initial understanding.
About Gates's marriage.
Yeah, that she believed he and Drecka Haynes were legally separated when she got involved with him. She apparently insisted she wouldn't knowingly date a married man.
That's a really crucial detail, actually.
How do you say that?
Because if she genuinely believed he was separated, it changes the context of her actions, right? And her reaction when he then went public with Renner, it suggests she might feel misled or that the situation wasn't clear back then. It adds complexity to her perspective.
Makes sense. It's not just black and white.
Really is.
Yet, despite all this drama playing out, Kevin Gates seems, well, pretty committed to showing he's with Brittany Renner. The sources say he's hitting back at trolls
Actively defending the relationship.
and constantly showing affection publicly. He's not exactly hiding.
No, definitely not retreating. It seems like a conscious effort to push back against the negativity, against Persia's claims, by just being very visibly together and affectionate, controlling the narrative through action.
Right. And maybe that ties into the whole soft launch idea.
Explain that a bit.
Well, some people online and some sources framed those earlier appearances, like the DDG stream, little cozy videos, not as accidents, but as a deliberate, maybe gradual way of letting people know they were together.
Okay. Like testing the waters?
Yeah, instead of a big splashy announcement, more like letting it trickle out, seeing the reaction. Maybe it feels more organic that way, even if it's planned.
That's a pretty common playbook for celebrities, isn't it? A soft launch lets you gauge the public mood, build some buzz without the pressure of a huge reveal. It can seem more natural, even if it's strategic.
So wrapping up this DRM News Global chat then, we've got the initial confirmation, the sort of split online reaction.
Right, and Gates firing back in the comments.
Then Renner's interesting stance on phone privacy.
Minding her own business, basically.
And then the big complication, Persia's claims of overlap, manipulation, the personal insults, the whole Islam commentary.
And the threats allegation, plus her belief about the separation. It's a lot of layers.
It really is. Lots of conflicting stories swirling around.
Definitely. And, it kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it, thinking about us, the audience. Why are we so fascinated by these celebrity relationships playing out online?
Yeah, what does our intense interest and maybe our quickness to judge say about how we view love, relationships, fame, especially with social media amplifying everything?
Right. And how do you even figure out what's true when you have all these different personal stories and interpretations bouncing around in the digital world?
It's a tough one. Maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. Consider all the angles we've talked through here on DRM News Global. Look at the information out there and, I guess, draw your own conclusions.